because you can, like you said, to your point, you could pull your phone out at any time and you get answers to anything that you want, right? And you get them fast. And you're watching the Instagram reels, the TikToks, the YouTube shorts. So you get the answers in 15 seconds. So now anything that takes longer than 15 seconds, you don't even want to bother with. So it makes you almost addicted to that instant gratification, and it almost makes you rely on it, right? Because I mean, I'm sure I've caught myself doing this, of going and looking something up that I know the answer to, but I'm just so used to pulling my phone out and trying to come up with the answer through my phone. And instead of actually working for something and having patience for something, I want to get the instant gratification, and it's done for me. I don't have to do any other work.
Yeah, I think there's two things there, right? There's the instant gratification, and it's a negative, right? Because that's what we want. Everything we want now, now, now. And listen, that's not just social media, right? Like the you could get a meal in 2 minutes in the microwave, and so and some of those things are convenient, right? And they were created out of convenience, but I think that's a negative, and I think that's your generation is probably affected by it more than my generation. But I think as a society as a whole, like, we want it and we want it now, and that's a negative consequence. I had another point, but I forget what it was.
I want to make one point that I wanted to make, and it's a little bit of a shift in the conversation, but it goes back to what we were talking about uh, with young men having a false understanding of what it means to be a man, and social media plays a big role in that. And I think if we include, you had mentioned this, if you include television, right, and all these other things as part of social media, right, is now you have those TV shows where it's falsely portraying manhood and masculinity, as well as all these guys online posting about all the false masculinity stuff and not setting the proper example for people. So I think it's that social media directly plays a role into one of the problems that young men face today.
Yeah, for sure. And probably two different influences there, right? I think when you talk about TV, sitcoms in this day and age, and maybe for a long time have portrayed the man as like a buffoon, like he's kind of like the comic relief in the show, and not truly leading. So that's one side of it. And then with the social media, you get that, and you mentioned this, the false masculinity, right? You get the guy who rents the Lamborghini for the day and takes pictures in front of it, or the jet for the day and takes pictures in front of it, or I don't, I don't know what else, but certainly not true to life. Again, it's that social media life that isn't really what being a man is about, right? It's about struggling. It's about leading. It's about protecting. It's about providing. It's about presiding. And we need to see more of that.
I think another positive, right? And it can also be a negative because you could have bad role models, but there's also plenty of good role models through social media, right? Guys like Ryan Mickler, guys like Jordan Peterson, and the list goes on, right? And without them, without social media, their message doesn't get out there to the world.
Yeah. Podcasts like Manhood Understood. Because let's not kid ourselves. Like, we're using it, right? We're using social media right now, right? I mean, this is basically, we're part of it, and hopefully we're part of the solution, not part of the problem. That we're using it intentionally. We're using it to spread a good message, to spread a message, to a needed message. And I do think, again, it's up to, fathers to show their young sons and other people, other men or young boys in their life, how to use it properly. Cause it's part of our life. Social media is here. It's here to stay. It's not going anywhere, but we have to use it intentionally. So if we're using it to follow people like Ryan Mickler, to follow Jordan Peterson, watch podcasts like Manhood Understood, or the Order of Man podcast, or the Art of Manliness podcast, that's an intentional, good use of it. If we're using it to waste time, for silly things, then not so positive.